Welcome to the Callback Countdown podcast. I'm Joseph Maxwell. I'm currently producing a musical that I wrote, which is crazy, and I wanted to share the story of how it came to be. So I'll be going back through my whole life and pinpointing the people, places, and moments that led directly or indirectly to this. Today I'm joined by Luke Evans. I met Luke several years ago and we quickly bonded over trying to play music but not having people to play music with, and then we started playing music together. It was a natural fit. Over the years our collaborations have been sporadic but impactful, and we've contributed to each other's projects in a variety of ways, worked together on a number of things. Um, and Luke has been a great creative partner for a lot of the things that I've tried to do. Luke also has the best taste of anyone I know, especially this is kind of related to what we're talking about, I guess. When it comes to movies, like usually if someone recommends me a movie, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll watch that. But if Luke recommends a movie, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this tonight, like immediately. Because you never steered me wrong. Okay, so that was a little unrelated to things, but thank you, welcome, thanks for being here, Luke.
Hi, Joseph. Hi, audience. The thing about movies, like if somebody recommends something to me, I will not engage with it probably.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's just how it goes. But
I am almost always that way, except for when you recommend literally anything.
yeah, I feel the same way about stuff that you'd say. But
I
I think that's because we have clicked so well with creative stuff.
yeah, and usually what you recommend is like a weird indie documentary, and that's usually like exactly what I want to watch. So it's like we have aligning tastes for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
But and that I think that might make me kind of a mean person, but also if I recommend something, like I'm also self-conscious of being a recommender. So
mhm.
I would only do it if I thought it was important.
Yeah, yeah. I have now at this point like I have some go-to. I almost never recommend unless it's like recommending Joe Pera or How To with John Wilson. Like I'll recommend those to anyone at any time. Like there's, specific things that I'll just like evergreen that I stand by wholeheartedly. But other than that, it's like I don't know. I don't trust myself to know anyone else's taste.
Right.
Which is the crazy thing about making anything, I think. I mean, writing this musical and but making music, anything like that is trying to do something that I think is good and then wondering, is anyone else going to think it's good? Because there's so much of it is the taste that someone has or um, how that works, which is kind of a segue into one of my questions. Um, when you're writing a song, when you're putting a song together, how do you do that? What's your process like?
Well, I think for me, most of the time it comes from just like a melody appearing in my head.
Hmm.
It could be completely spontaneous. It could be like I hear like a song on the radio or online or something, and I think of like a harmony or like a different spin on it, and then like a that's a germ of an idea. Um, and also it could be done through improvisation, but not all the time. But I do feel like some of the best stuff I've had, it was like actually engaging with like my guitar or a keyboard or something and letting my hands do the thinking, I guess.
Hmm. So do you usually start with like the music and then the lyrics come later?
Oh, pretty much always. Like I do have like a document where I keep like I'll think of a phrase or something and write it down. And I'll go back like if I'm having a writer's block on a song, then I'll try to use that as like an inspiration, but I always have to fit the lyrics like to the song after the fact.
Yeah. That's I think I'm like that a lot too. A lot of times though it starts with the lyrics and it really just depends. The hard part is like how do you get that magic thing that starts your song and then you just kind of go from there, but starting it is hard.
It's so hard.
And I
And
know
like
you have so many songs. Well, how many do you have in the works right now? Because I know you usually have a backlog of like 20 things that you're trying to release.
yeah, I think I do have. So I don't know. I have like a few singles, and I have two 4-song EPs that are like, one is in the mixing stage and one is like I have to write lyrics for it and record the vocals.
Mm,
Um,
nice.
and then like the songs that been playing live with my band, there's like 12 or 13 songs in that set of songs. So it's about 20 or like 20 to 25 songs to release.
Nice. How do you feel about that? Because whenever I have something to release, I just want to like get it out. And I feel like I can't do anything else until I do. Do you feel that way too?
I used to feel that way, but then I stopped worrying about doing everything like in order, I
Hmm.
guess. So I'm more okay with working on things concurrently, and I figured out like a good process. Like I got to get this thing to the stage where it just needs artwork. I got to get this thing to the stage where it just needs mixing, and somebody else can work on that while I go and produce like this old idea or something.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite part of the process of like for me it's writing the song. That's really what I like to do. And then the production side or promoting or mixing, master, like any of that stuff is not my favorite thing. But do you have like a part of the process where you feel the most energized or that you enjoy the most?
Um, I think that I think the writing is the most fun part for sure. Um, at a certain point, depending on what you're doing, the producing can feel like an extension of the writing.
Hmm.
So I do like coming up with like weird, like how can I make this guitar sound really weird? And that's fun. Or like what big moments can I add to this song that are done like after the writing has been done?
Yeah, yeah. It's so this a song can evolve so much from the writing stage to the whole production. Um, and you mentioned playing with your band. Um, do you have a preference for like playing songs live versus like crafting them in the studio? Do you enjoy playing live? Or recording? I think playing live and recording, I hate both of those things. I don't like to do either. I just like to write songs. Well, how do you feel about those things?
I think that playing live is a little more fun than recording because like I mean I've played solo most of my time, but
Hmm.
I've had different like I was in a band in like high school to early college that was really fun, and I played with you playing some of my songs and also just like improvising at our homes.
Yeah.
And the connection that you get with the people that you play with is like really special and fun.
Hmm.
Um, I think recording can be fun, but it you have so many compromises like recording at home.
Yeah.
And if I think it would be more fun if you had more of a team of people that could do like the annoying stuff, like trying to record vocals at home where you're like wrapped in a blanket or something.
Yeah.
You make a mistake and have to start over. You have to unwrap the blanket, like pause and go back. Like that's not fun.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to capture like the magic of like a live vocal performance for me recordings, and that makes it really tough.
Yeah. Recording vocals. That's why I've really uh, concluded that I just want to record with one microphone on just my phone and just put that stuff out because it's like that like every time I try to record vocals and do well, like do a good job recording them, they always sound worse than if they just sound bad. Like if they sound bad, they sound better. That's kind of what I've found.
That's
Um,
understandable.
yeah. So when you're doing something, you mentioned like the connection you feel playing with other people, and I love that. It's really one of the best things about music is when you get to connect in that way. Um, but you also mentioned you play a lot solo, which is kind of what I have done most of the time too. How does it change your process when you're working on one of your songs and you involve other people, or when you're coming up with something with other people?
Yeah, I think that it's you have to be thinking about like you have to have empathy for the other player. Like I
Mm,
can't write something that is impossible to play. Like I could
hmm
program a bass part, but I don't want to torture the person who has to actually play it. And also you just have to get yourself in the mindset of like what is even possible to do. Like I've never sat at a drum set,
hmm
but I create drum parts like with programming. So what is even possible to do? Like what can you do with your feet and hands all at one time?
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a engineering problem is the way I look at it. Um, but I also try like I really want to get like other voices, not literal voices, but different interpretations of the basic idea of the song. So I try to leave it's kind of a balancing act between giving people freedom to do like to express themselves and not just be like a session musician where you tell them exactly what to play
hmm
and also giving them enough of a framework where they don't have to do a bunch of labor that they don't want to do. But
yeah.
I don't really know how to I still struggle with that. But uh
It's hard for me a lot of times because that balance of having you want them to have agency, you want your collaborators to feel like they're really collaborators, but also give them support or give them direction, because usually that's helpful for to have one person kind of direct or have a vision and be able to put it all together cohesively. It's not an easy thing. A lot of my stuff when I do it by myself, I'm like, okay, I have what I think is what it's going to be. And then I get tied to that because I hear it in my head so much. And then if someone comes in with something that's a little bit different, surprising, new, I think, oh, that's not what I thought. So it feels weird. It feels like wrong. But then I've had to learn over the years to let go of that and like go with what other people want to do sometimes. And then ultimately I'm like, oh wait, that was way better than what I had in my head initially. Initially, it was so familiar to me that something unfamiliar felt scary and wrong. That's been a big adjustment with like this musical because I wrote it all by myself. And then I was like, oh, wait, but also a bunch of other people are going to have to make it happen. Like, I can't just do it myself. So that was an adjustment.
yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to tell like um just talking about taste, like it how much can you trust your own taste and
hmm
like that's a really important part of being a director. You have to know when to veto things and when to embrace the changes. And that's a hard thing to like you can be mindful of it, but it's hard to tell if you're right or not because it's all in your own head.
Yeah, it's like, and it's funny to say that I'm directing this musical because I am. It is true, but I have zero like I have no business directing anything because I've never done it. But you gotta do something first before you've done it. So kind of makes sense. But that's been an adjustment for sure. Talking about taste, like when you put together a song, whether you're writing it or tracking, producing it, um, do you try to just do something that you think is really, really good, or do you try to emulate other artists, or like what's your take on making something of quality? Is it just up to your own standards, or do you try to match it to other people's standards?
Um, well, when it comes to like emulating people, I feel like that's kind of how most people start creating stuff is by copying
hmm
things. And that's kind of, I feel like that's always kind of there. Like, I don't really listen to like the Beatles regularly, but
What?
like,
What? You don't listen to the Beatles regularly?
and I'm not saying that to be like a contrarian, like the Beatles aren't actually good, but what I'm saying is like, because they are good, but
Hot
like,
take from
right.
Luke.
Well, sometimes
I know a
in
lot.
some
Yeah.
environments that is a hot take
I
because
think
they're
it's I think you've got like I feel like you're like three layers into that take of,
right.
like the Beatles being good is like anyway, sorry.
No, I've heard way too many people argue about this. So, um, but like when that I was just so obsessed with them when I was like 13, and I don't know if
Yeah,
you can ever like completely let go of that. And
right.
same with other artists that I was really into, like 13 to 18.
Hmm.
I think I'll always be emulating them in some way.
Yeah.
But at this point, like I do want things to be at like a fidelity that people are like can where they can absorb it without like recoiling at the
Right.
song.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, I want to do things that I want to do in the highest quality possible, just to get people in the door.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I care more about just making something that I like a lot because I think that will resonate with other people who have the same sensibility more than trying to appeal to an audience that I imagine or think will be more popular or something like that.
Yeah. It's been a struggle for me to try to do that as well sometimes because it's hard to make something that doesn't doesn't become an immediate viral sensation, So then like part of me is always like, what if I made something like this that would be popular? But then, my heart's not in it. So it loses a lot when you try to focus on other taste, be it beyond your own.
Right.
Um, so taking it farther back, you talked about the Beatles. I was also obsessed with the Beatles. I have very specific memory of getting, my mom got me three Beatles CDs I could probably pinpoint the exact date when, at like the end of sixth grade. And then it was over for me after that. It was Abbey Road, Sergeant Pepper's, and Let It Be, I think. And then I was like, I was a Beatles fanatic. But how did you get into music, both listening to music and playing music way back in the day?
Um, I don't know what really got me into listening, but I mean, I just always was really interested in it and
Hmm.
got obsessed with these songs that like my parents or grandparents would play.
Nice.
I remember we got like you know those like toy computers that kids have, especially like in the 90s with the LCD screens and
I
like
don't know if I know what you're talking about.
they're called VTech computers.
Okay. Yes, I think I do know what you're talking about.
I had one of those and it had like a very like simple music sequencer on it. And I started just like making like it was basically sheet music
Hmm.
and you could type in the notes.
Yeah.
And I started doing that when I was like 5 years old.
That's wild. No wonder you're so good at it. You started.
That's how I started doing it.
Wow.
Like that was my first instrument besides, I mean, I'm sure that we played with like toy drums or whatever,
Sure.
but
Wow.
I'd be really curious to hear what those sounded like. They're probably really bad because it was just like it was monophonic and like it's like one melody.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like super into it. But then later I got like a guitar and learned how to play that. My dad played guitar too, so I just like learned on his stuff and he taught me
Hmm.
how to play like my first riffs and all that. Um, so just
Classic.
started from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, the dad musician pipeline, or that's that my dad was a big musician.
Yeah.
So your dad, if your dad has a guitar, that's the first step. I remember playing we had a keyboard in my house growing up, and I remember learning like by ear learning how to play the Harry Potter theme. There was like da 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 da, and I was so psyched that I like figured that out as a I don't know 9-year old, and that was a formative. time for me. It's funny how that like finding those melodies or finding that it's just so innate and like when you have that you hear sounds, you hear the music and it's like wow, it's like it's transcendent. Yeah, I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you I know you like you play guitar, but you also do a lot of like sampling, sequencing stuff electronically. Um, do you like to write songs more in one way or another? You mentioned the guitar. Do you ever write songs like at the computer?
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the ideas like will start at the computer because sometimes it's just like a matter of convenience. Like um if I record it this way, if I just like put in the notes, then I'll have like a document of what the notes are. And
Yeah.
then I won't forget the idea. Um whereas like if I record a demo on a guitar, like I have all these demos for new stuff that's like I forgot how to play it. I have to transcribe this really low quality phone recording.
Oh yeah.
Um but I do like it is also fun because it's like you're a conductor, like you're telling all these different parts what to do,
Hmm.
which can capture an idea better. But um, and just being able to like easily loop it and sit back and listen to it and think about it
Hmm.
instead of like I don't know, like listening and thinking and playing and improvising over it are both good. So I kind of do both.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool process. I never like write at a computer. I don't have the technology. I mean, I probably could get the technology to just do like little sequencer stuff, but I just I don't I'm not good at that. But also I have so many voice memos that are just like songs that I do not know how to play or like riffs that I'm like, "Ah, I don't want to I have to go figure out what tuning this was or whatever. Like I don't know how that worked.
Yeah.
That's funny. Um All right. So you are speaking of songwriting, which we've been talking about a lot. You are uniquely talented at crafting songs that are lyrically and sonically out of this world and yet feel very real or human. So when you are writing a song, how much do you pull from your personal experience versus how much you invent? I'm sure it's different for different songs. But how much of like your life gets into your songs?
I think that not a lot of my real life gets in like narratively, but maybe just things I like think and observe get put into like a story.
Hmm.
I don't think that a lot of my songs are really coming from my point of view
Hmm.
necessarily. Um,
Is it harder or easier to write songs from a point of view that's not your own?
I think it's way easier because like my life is really boring. So I don't have a lot of stuff to I have a lot of thoughts that I think are worth sharing. Maybe that's a little narcissistic, but
Yeah.
I don't have like a story to tell that I think would make a good song. I think I definitely
Hmm.
write songs that are like just emotions from the heart, but I like to experiment with the different formats. And if I want to write like a song, like one of my songs is about a guy who actually I don't know if I should bring you can edit this part out.
I'm not gonna edit it out. And I mean, the truth is that I'm have no time to edit any of these
Okay.
things, so I'm just gonna yeah, I mean
Okay, sorry. One of the songs is about a guy who plays, you know, like the short story, The Most Dangerous Game.
yes.
It's about a guy who plays the most dangerous game in a co-working space. Because but and that's kind of a comedic idea. It's not
Hmm.
really supposed to be a joke song, but I drew that from like how my feeling about how people are just going off the rails, like on a grand scale in the last 5 years. So,
Yeah.
and then like the chorus of the song relates that, like there's the verse tells the story, and then the chorus like tries to generalize the point. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, overall, it comes from me, but it's not. I don't really like writing about myself because it's just not interesting. But
Yeah, that's funny. I do the exact opposite. Like all of everything that I do is just completely super personal. But it's interesting because writing a musical is very different because I like inherently, if you're writing a song that a character is going to sing, you have a different perspective. But I think that actually allowed me to be even more personal than I would be if I was singing as myself. Like I could put more of the parts of myself that I wouldn't want to express as a as me, but I get to say like, oh, this character is the one who's expressing this thing that is sort of part of me in some way. So having a different point of view opens you up, I think, to more exploration of broader ideas too.
that's true. It can be easier to say something as another person too.
Yeah, it's like, when you're wearing a mask, the anonymity sort of thing, like you feel more comfortable. Um,
Yeah, it gives you plausible deniability if somebody you know asks about it too.
so true, so true. Yes. Although I don't think I'm not beating the uh whatever allegate what's the I'm not beating the total narcissism allegations. If you see the musical, it's it's very you get all the deep dark personal stuff. But it's also cathartic, it's freeing in a way to have it out there.
Yeah. I guess in that sense, like how you're talking about putting yourself into characters, then a lot of it is really personal to me and things that I think about a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but maybe just like some aspects of it, and it depends song to song, but
Yeah.
parts of the personality are like magnified, like how Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm plays like uh an over the top version of himself that isn't
Yeah.
afraid to say anything and uh willingly gets himself into trouble for the sake of the plot. Like there's stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that could be a powerful approach. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about songs a lot. But we didn't talk about how you don't live in Cleveland anymore, which is very sad to me for sure, because I think we can still collaborate somehow, but it's harder.
Yeah.
But when you think back to your time in Cleveland, are there any places or shows like venues, um, or events or things like that that come to mind as things that you really enjoyed while you were here, shows that you played, places that you played?
Um, well, I do think that having lived in like two cities, I think that Cleveland is the greatest city in the world
Woo! Cleveland
for so
rocks.
many reasons. But um, I I think one show that sticks out is the show that we played at Pat's in the Flats, like
Oh yeah.
which is a legendary like um punk venue
Hmm.
in the neighborhood, the Flats, and I don't
As
know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, legend has it, it was Jack White's first show that was not in Detroit, right? That's what I heard that I will repeat forever.
Right. And I feel like we kind of missed out on the heyday of it, but it was
Hmm.
cool to play there like right before it shut down.
Yeah, I feel like it shut down like 3 weeks after. Like it was very soon after we had that show.
Yeah, and we probably killed it
I
because
think it, yeah.
there were like no people there. But to be fair, a lot of shows there were probably played to like three or four people.
Yeah. That was
Um,
a cool. I remember that. I know there was at least one touring band called Spiller, I think was on
yeah.
that show, and there might have been another one. It was a good show though. It was fun.
Yeah, the other band was an Akron band called Perfect Girl
Oh
at the time.
yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't heard from them in a long time. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Man, I miss playing music. I haven't like played, I have a child now, and and that was pre-COVID, I think. How was it? I don't remember. But life happens. We don't play as
Yeah,
many places anymore.
the you're talking about the Pats show?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would have been in 2019, I think.
yeah, I think so. Life goes on sometimes.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything where you are now? Any music stuff locally?
Um, Not really yet. We've been really busy with moving in and
Hmm.
um had a lot of like I've already been back to Ohio twice for family stuff,
Yeah.
and music stuff, but which was just kind of like an unfortunate, like annoying coincidence. So we've just been really busy. So like I have been producing, but not really engaging with the Madison music scene at all.
Yeah, it's hard because it takes I remember like when I moved to Cleveland after college, and I'm from around here, but like when I started kind of being an adult in the world, it's really hard to get into a scene. Now, like I was lucky to be friends with you and then kind of just like cold email people or like try to get on shows randomly and sort of take some time to build up that community and those connections, relationships, because it's like you have to build the personal connections and relationships, but also sort of the music side. Like you have to play things that people like or that vibe in some way with some scene. Not that that necessarily, I think the personal side is probably more important than the actual music, but they both are huge factors and it's hard to start from the beginning on that.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure if it's where I want to spend most of my time, like
Yeah.
trying to build a local audience. Not that, I mean, the community is really a good aspect of like participating in music locally,
Hmm.
but like if I am honest about like what I want to do, then it involves just like putting out more music and recording as much as possible.
Yeah.
Um, and I always feel like playing live can be a distraction to that for some people. It kind of
Hmm.
depends on the genre and
Yeah.
how, like what kind of connections you have, but um I see that as the path forward for me if I want to succeed, so that's what I'm going to focus on. And I also think that that's like what um is most special about what I do is the recording. So
Yeah. Well, you got some great, I'm sure you got well, I don't know how detailed your release plans are, but I'm sure you got some great stuff in the bank. I've heard some of it from like hearing you live and things like that. So, um excited for whatever is coming next. Um I did want to just touch on I know like music is a big thing that you do creatively. Do you do anything else creatively like writing or other sorts of things?
I have a lot of failed projects
Yeah, me
that are
too. Me too.
non-musical. Um,
I think some of those projects might be both of our projects that we wanted to do.
right. We have a lot of failed movie ideas
Oh,
and
so many.
documentary ideas, but
Yeah. One
like,
day.
yeah, like I've tried making like video game stories and short stories and film stories, but none of them have really, I just have not been dedicated enough to any of them.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe in the future, especially, I do want to do more like visual stuff too.
Yeah.
Um, but right now I have too much music to make, so
There's too much music to make, so little time. Well, on that note, I think I do want to hear about if you have anything coming up, any releases that are, scheduled or anywhere else people can find your stuff, anything you want to promote and plug right now.
yes. I have a new song out on the Flower Pot Records compilation. They do a yearly festival with the artists on the label and also associated artists. and release like a big compilation with all of those songs around the same time. And that's out now on flowerpot records.bandcamp.com. And oh, I make music as Dead Links, by the way.
Oh yeah, I
So
should have
the
said I should have that's my bad. I should have said that in your intro.
it's I should have introduced myself, but so the song out is called Dead Links, Another World, and it's a remake of a song that we used to play live together in the pre-COVID
Yeah.
days.
A classic, a Luke Evans classic.
Yes, but it's I I kind of had like mixed feelings about that song, so I wanted to remake it, and it's something that I could like be proud of. Um, so where was I? And I also have another song. Oh, and that song is also coming out on streaming next month or
Nice.
at the end of August, actually. But right now it's only on Bandcamp. And please go and support, like check out the compilation and buy it on Bandcamp if you like it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a great comp. A lot of really great bands and tracks on there.
yeah. And also, I'll be part of a Labor Day compilation on Flower Pot as well, and I'll have a song on that. But that will remain a surprise. But keep an eye out for that toward the end of September. Or
Sweet.
when's Labor Day?
September 1st.
Toward the end of
Right.
August.
Yeah. Well, I know that because my musical is August 29th through 31st, and then the day after it closes is Labor Day, and I will rest on Labor Day. Not gonna
As you,
work.
we all should.
Yes, we all should. Shout out to Labor Day.
Yeah, it's a good holiday.
Good holiday. All right. Anything else you want to share?
I guess if I could do one more plug,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we'll be playing live as Dead Links at the Waterloo Arts Festival on September 13th in Cleveland.
Dang, I didn't
Um,
know that. I'm glad that you're plugging this so I can add it to my calendar.
yeah, it's going to be our second live show, and it might be the last live show for a while because of the situation, and also I just want to focus on recording. So, like my next few visits to Cleveland after that will hopefully be recording for like those
Yeah.
songs that we're going to play live. So it'll be a good. It's always a fun event to go to, a street festival with lots of cool bands and vendors and food. So come check us out before you don't have a chance to for a while.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. You might see me there. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Luke, and bye, everybody.
Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
It's over. We did it. This was fun. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, for sure. We
All
forgot to talk
right.
about One Night Only Night though.
Dang it. Okay, we're back. I've got to talk about One Night Only Night. Though actually that's the reason that I wanted to talk to you. I totally forgot. Dang it. Okay. Okay. We're not gonna
It,
edit. I'm not gonna edit this, but we're just if you're still listening, One Night Only Night was a very formative part of my uh show producing career because it was the first show that I was ever part of producing in any way. And it was a really fun time. It was at Happy Dog in uh 2019, and it was a variety show with stand-up comedy, improv comedy, sketch comedy, music, trivia, maybe too many things. Video, there was a video, maybe too many things. That was such a fun time though. What do you remember from One Night Only Night?
I was really, I mean, I feel like you did most of the work. I feel like you were kind of a director. I was more of a producer, but um, I was really proud that we pulled it off and put a whole show together. And it's a challenge to get something like that booked. So I thought it was really fun. I really liked working on the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just like a really fun challenge.
Yeah, I rewatched the Feel Gooderall video recently. It's a good video. It holds up. It's a fun time. And your sketch about sliders, classic.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I wrote something for that.
Yeah. That was great. Good times. That was really the first time I ever put together a show, or which is interesting because it was so many moving parts and so many people had to come together to make it happen. But it was really cool. It was a good crowd. It was a fun night. Gotta start doing more stuff like that. So we were trying to bring it back, and then I got COVID, or I think I got COVID like right before we were gonna do it. That was sad. But
Yeah.
it's one night only night. It has to be one night only.
It's way funnier that like the fact that it didn't happen is way funnier than any of the jokes that we could have come up with because
Yeah,
it's just kind
completely.
of cursed to never happen again.
I do think though we should try to make it happen again and then like expect that something will go wrong. I think that might have to, I don't know, in long future, we'll revive it or we'll attempt to revive it.
That will be fun. I do
Yeah.
own one night only night.com.
That rocks.
So
Let's see if I go there right now. What's gonna happen?
I'm actually not
Probably
sure
not.
what'll happen.
Yeah. Oh, access was denied. I don't have authorization to view that page. Dang.
I'm doing a hostile takeover of one night only night.
Yeah, well, I won't fight you on that. Um, oh yeah, but thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot that I did want to definitely touch on that because it was formative for the progression of starting as in music and then getting like branching into the comedy world and the performing world outside of just like traditional music shows. Was a big part of how I became part of this larger community that has all that fun stuff too.
How do you feel like it? Do you feel like that experience and even like we did plan another show that didn't actually happen. Do you feel
Mhm.
like those projects helped prepare you for the musical?
That's a great question. In some ways, definitely they did, especially from things like promoting, like that was part of it, or just like organizing people. A big part of it was expecting things to go wrong a little bit. Like things went wrong. Like one of the acts didn't show up. There were technical difficulties. And so just being aware that those things can happen and being okay with that and feeling more comfortable with that. Um, it was interesting because there was a lot of freedom with one night only night. We were beholden to nobody. We could just do whatever we wanted. And we didn't really, I mean, we had the limitations of the space, but that was about it. And the musical, I have more external limitations in some ways. Um, and it's a different like approach because it's one big thing instead of like little segments of different things. So it's harder to maintain the whole thing together. But definitely I would not have done this if I didn't do that. Like I think it started that journey of like being able to book a show ever. Like that was like probably the first show I ever actually booked as a person who was like, "Hey, do you have like, reaching out to Happy Dog, being like, "Do you have any dates available for this weird thing I want to do?" And they were like, "Yeah." That was cool. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, it gave me that confidence, I think, to be like, "Oh yeah, I can just do stuff. I can just make stuff." Which I think is one of the best lessons that I have learned is I've heard other people say this too. It's just like you can just do stuff. Like you can make a movie, you can make a song, you can make a show. There's no barrier to that. I mean, there are a million barriers. There are so many barriers, but nothing is going to delegitimize your effort. Like if you do something, then it is a real thing. So that was cool to have that experience to teach me
Yeah,
that.
you definitely shouldn't. I feel like the point of that quote is to not let like perception or like imposter syndrome get in the way because that's like the thing that's going to stop you before any of the real barriers can get in your
Right.
way.
Right. Because there are enough real barriers. Like you don't need to invent your own barriers to like to give to yourself because there's enough hard stuff out there, so you might as well believe in yourself and just do it. And when you do it, that like the other thing I think is if you do something and it's really, really terrible, then the next time you do something, it's gonna be better. And so at the very least, anything you do is a stepping stone to something in the future. And that's been like this musical is just like a bunch of tiny little stepping stones that have accumulated and amassed into a really big stepping stone. And I think of this musical as like another stepping stone. It's just like whatever happens, if it goes terribly wrong, or if it's not well received, or if no one buys tickets, or whatever, it's still just a step. It's not the end of anything, which I think is a helpful way for me to approach any artistic endeavor is like, there's no final version of something, or there's no final opus that it's not going to stop. Like I'm not going to release a song and be like, "Oh, I guess I don't have like I'm done releasing songs." That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
Like
I
even
know,
if you recorded the musical, even if you recorded a full performance of it, it's still just like a snapshot of that time you did it. Like
yeah,
the only thing that makes something done is just not being willing to do it anymore.
right, right. At that point, it will be done. That's when something dies, when it truly will never exist again. But everything exists forever in perpetuity. That's
That's
what I
true.
say. Yeah.
That's true.
All right. Well, th thank you for joining us for this little extra segment that I forgot about that we should talk about. Um, okay. Anything you have any additional plugs now that we have plugs two, our second plugs section?
Maybe you want to remind anybody who made it this far where they can go to see the musical and when.
Yeah, I should. My plugs. Callbackmusical.com. You can see, you can buy tickets there. You can learn more about the show there. It is Friday, August 29th through Sunday, August 31st at Imposters Theater in Cleveland. We have four shows total and tickets still available. So come down, check it out. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be really fun. Alrighty. Now we are officially done no matter what happens next. That's it.
Okay. I'll try not to think of anything that we forgot.